So I got a bunch of stuff done here on this machine, and I got lots to tell you guys. So today I was just kind of mocking up one of the A-arms here on the floor, and I've got the rod ends there at that end, and I was just looking at it. I know what kind of a stance I want here at this end, you know, once it's on the machine over there. So I was kind of curious how the rod ends are going to like that kind of an angle here at this end. So, you know, I don't want to put this into a bind. So I just kind of put it together here like it would be on the machine. And then I put it at the stance that I want. And then I just wanted to know if I could open it up even farther if I wanted to, you know, without creating a bind over at that end. So that was kind of important to know that that was all going to work out. And it won't be a problem, so I know that's going to be alright. Look how long this A-arm is going to be compared to, you can see one of my front ones hanging there, that little short one, compared to this one here. So it's going to be massive. So anyways, let's get at this thing a little bit. So in the last video there, I showed you guys two pieces of tubing that I bent into a 90. So that's one here and the other one is on that side. I cut the ends off here a little bit just to get them the right length. But see, the thing is, this machine is a belt drive. You can see the clutch and all that right there. And I've got the cover for it right here. So it's important that I can get that cover off and change the belt if I want to. So, and the other thing is, I wanted to make this framework as narrow as I can, because ultimately that's where the A-arms are going to bolt onto. And the longer I can make my A-arms, the more suspension travel I can get out of it. So see, the bottom one, it has a nice straight shot right to the frame there in the front. But the top one, because of this side, see, I've got the clutch right in the way there. So I wanted to make it in such a way that it still looked kind of like it was planned that way originally, and yet you know, make it so that I can have access to that belt. So what I'm going to do here is this piece here is going to be removable, and that's why I've put these brackets on here like this. What happens when this is all finished, then I pull these bolts off here, and I swing it up and I pull the bolts off there, and then I can remove that piece. So what I've built here so far wouldn't be strong enough yet to support the suspension and the loads that it creates on this framework here. There's going to be a lot of bridging and bracing and all that yet that's coming. So this is just kind of the start of the whole thing. And these little pieces in here, they're not welded on yet. They're just I've notched these little pieces of tubing, and I've just got them sitting in there. So that's got to get welded on yet. And these I got some more little ones right there. You see those? Well, that's the same kind of thing. I'll show you what I did there. All I do is I just use a grinder to grind these out until I've got the shape that I want. So it's kind of maybe a little bit the hard way. I don't have a tubing notcher. I never bought one, and I've got a pretty good grinding disc. It doesn't take long to carve a little hollow in there. And these are all too short. They're like 1/8 of an inch too short. And so by the end of the video, they're still going to be too short. So I haven't welded this together yet, so you know, I'm going to take this all apart for you guys, and I'm just going to show you the individual pieces that I've put together here, and some of the procedures that I've went through to make this all happen. So this curved piece here, it mounts to this part of the frame here, and actually the original swing arm that I had on this machine, it used this area for a mount. So you can still see there's a bushing right in here. Well, it's no longer a bushing. What I did is I carved some of the outer shell out of here, and then I welded that bushing solid so that it's no longer a bushing. It's just a mount for this here now. So it actually worked pretty good for, you know, a location. So I'm using that. And this guy here, so I made this in two pieces. You can see there's a joint right in here, and I made all the tabs there, the brackets and stuff. So, and that's what that end looks like. That mounts to that area where that bushing used to be. So these tabs here, I actually built them from scratch. I started with, I made some samples out of cardboard just to see how they would line up. And once I had a cardboard sample made up, then I marked it out on some 1/4-inch plate. And then I did the rough cutting with a cutting disc. And from there I used I also used the grinder to carve out the curved part, and a little more with the grinding disc here and there, and then drilled a hole, and ended up with some reasonably nice looking pieces to mount on there. And so then there's this guy here. So that's the rear frame piece. It's kind of like the mate for that one right there. So this one here I also made in 2 pieces. You can see there's a joint right there. So in the front here, you can see I put there's a really rigid mount right in here, and it fits together onto there. So before I welded these on here, what I did is I ran a 1/2-inch rod through the pair, so that just to help line it all up before I would weld it. So yeah, cutting disc and the grinding disc. So here what I've done is I've just lined everything up, you know, getting ready to weld those little brackets on there. So this is my 5-inch disc grinder. It's a Makita, and right now you can see it's got the thick disc on there. That's for grinding. And then I've got, you know, I use these two. This is like a really thin cutting disc. So between this one or that one, I tell you, like, it's like almost the sky's the limit to what a guy can all pull off. So this thing never lets me down, except for when I cut the cord in half, of course. So this is the original swing arm that I had built for the machine. I've got a lot of hours into making all this stuff. These pieces here are actually, they were cut on a plasma machine. So that's how I got the, you know, the nice shape and stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this stuff up. I'm going to salvage it for parts. So I need to come up with a way to mount this this little center axle here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this one, and those two, and I gotta carve it out of here. This is the original bump stop pad that I had made, so I'm going to be cutting that out of there. All I want is these 2 curved pieces, you know, these 2 and then those 2. So because this is pretty hard to just you know, make it by eye, and I really got this, you know, got the right shape here. See, this is my chain tensioner area here. See, it slides right here for chain adjustment. So I think that's going to be for another video though.